Hello, myself Vishal. So today I'm reflecting on our last video 3, the Okada Parchmann follow up. So I'm reflecting on the lecture about the functional movement screen. On this reflection, I will focus on the key questions posed in this 1 hour lecture, almost 1 hour lecture, my main takeaways and how this connect to the broader course, especially in the movement assessment, injury prevention, and the research interpretation. I made some notes for that because it's a long lecture, so it's hard to remember everything. So, basically, the FMS is designed to capture fundamental movement abilities. It's basically not a fitness test, and it's not designed to predict athletic performance directly. Instead, it evaluates the movement quality, symmetry, the stability, mobility across the 7 fundamentals. These are the overhead squat, hurdle step, inline lunge, shoulder mobility, trunk stability push up, rotary stability, active straight leg raise. So basically, each movement is scored on a 1 to 3 scale, where 3 indicates perfect execution, 2 indicates completion with the compensation, and the 1 means that movement cannot be completed. There's also a 0 for pain, which is a referral point. Sorry. A key takeaway is here the lowest score identifies your highest priority for the corrective work, with a special focus on asymmetries. For example, if someone has 1 on one side and 3 on the other, so that asymmetry becomes the priority over the bilateral limitations scored 1 on the both sides. So, misinterpretation in the research. So, one of the major points of the lecture was about how research studies on FMS can be misinterpreted. Many studies focus on correlating the FMS scores with performance outcomes like vertical jumps on single leg squats. However, this comparing apples and different fruit orange, FMS is not designed to predict performance. It's designed to injury prevention and movement quality. So our goal is to not predict athlete's performance or his overall markup. So main goal is to prevent injury or the quality of movements like they are performing. For example, someone might have the poor squats mechanics but can still dunk a basketball. That doesn't mean that the FMS is flawed. It means it measures something different: movement efficiency, stability, and risk of injury. This highlighted the concept of confirmation bias in research interpretation, as seen when practitioners rely solely on studies without understanding the FMS intended purpose. So they are not focusing on the purpose of SMS. Uh, Moreover, the lecture emphasized on practical scoring applications. Bilateral movements like overhead squats and turn stability push up are scored once. Unilateral movements like hurdle step, or inline lunge are scored for right and left sides. Asymmetries are more critical than uniform limitations because they pose high risk of compensatory injuries. A practical insight I gained from that is movement quality can be masked by the mobility deficits. For example, someone who appears limited in a squat may actually need stability support rather than the flexibility work. This distinction reinforces the importance of assessment over assumption, a principle we have studied throughout this course. The application and takeaways I will talk about. The biggest takeaway from this lecture is understanding purpose driven assessment. The FMS is foundational for injury prevention, helping identify the risk areas before they result in injury. It's not about predict scores, uh, about actually it's about symmetry, control, and stability. I also realized that importance of interpreting research carefully. A single study might suggest that FMS is not predictive of performance, but that doesn't negate that its value is assessing and movement quality. This ties directly to core theme of critical thinking and research evidence based practice and the limitations of correlational studies. Another key insight is the interplay between mobility, stability, and control. Power assessment allows practitioners to distinguish between mobility limitations and the stability issues, obviously, ensuring interventions are effective rather than um misdirected. Mhm. Now, in conclusion, this lecture reinforced the FMS is a tool for evaluating movement, identify asymmetries, and guiding injury prevention, rather than it is for predicting the athletic performance or something else. It's also reminded me of the importance of understanding the intent behind the test, critically evaluating research, and applying concept through thoughtfully in this practice. So basically, FMS is all about movement, identifying symmetries, guiding.